ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम गम गणपते नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु महालक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता। नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय। श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम। Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 30th of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anandakoti Namaskaram to all the great sages and to Bhagwan residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing further today to probe into the intricacies of the RAS Panchadhayyi. Please keep in mind that the 5 chapters are the heart of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 Sanskrit verses. The 10th canto, because there's 12 cantos, or skanda as it is called. The 10th skand is called Dasham Skand, and that is where the Charitra of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Paramatma, we find that there in the 10th canto. We also find in the 10th canto these 5 chapters, and in those 5 chapters we're going through every single word of those 5 chapters, and that has completely the essence of Ved, Vedant, all the other Puranas, all Upanishads, all commentaries, everything, and everything is in one place in these 5 chapters. There's nothing missing from there at all. All millions of scriptures are within these 5 chapters. The entire Bhagavad Gita is within these 5 chapters. But it is a matter of opening that concentrated Satyam. Satyam is only one, but it has been concentrated into Gopi Bhav, Gopi love, Prem, Madhurya, Bhagwan ke saath akhand prem, without any break. But to begin to grasp that is not a simple thing, because it is not in our experience to have. Yesterday we were talking about the Sthayi Bhav. Sthayi Bhav means a continuous, foundational, oceanic bhav of emotion that doesn't ever degrade. Our emotions are not like that. Our emotions in our human life, they are fluctuating so much. Even people who say they fall in love with each other, they're in love with each other. Yes, they may be. But you notice the changes that happen after some time. Start living with anybody for more than 3 or 4 months. All kinds of deficiencies are seen. All kinds of things show up which you never imagined even. All the imperfections show up. Still, people adjust then. People say marriage is an adjustment, right? Why is it an adjustment? It is an adjustment because there is not real love. That's why. Bhagwan ke saath jo prem hai, the actual prem that is absolutely pure, that same love can be there with people of the world. But that's very hard. Why is that so hard? Because we ourselves have deficiency. We have ahankar. And if our ahankar, with our expectations with others, people close to us particularly, and even others, we have all kinds of things in our mind. These 5 people should this way, 10 people should be this way, somebody should be this way. We have all kinds of criteria. Then my emotion is flowing well. Isn't that so? This is our human condition. When we engage in bhakti towards Prabhu, towards Bhagavan, through mantras, stotras, shastras, when we engage in the process of Navada Bhakti, we get a glimpse in the very beginning stage of this Sthayi Bhav. Sthayi Bhav, remember the meaning is what? Sthayi means it is a firmly established, absolutely established, rooted, abiding, permanent, static, enduring bhav. Bhav meaning? What is the meaning of bhav? Sentiment, feeling, emotion, state of being, existence. It is our inner emotional, energetic framework, energetic reality that has become stabilized in the Swarup of Sri Krishna. I hope this is, please remember, I'm happy to go over lots of material if you want that, but there's no point in just going through lots and lots of concepts until each concept is, not only is it clear, it has to be clear, but it should be crystal clear. That is better than just my covering material, to cover material. There's no point in doing that. This is not some academic class where we just have to cover so much material and there will be a test at the end and how much did somebody intellectually learn. Yeah, that's available. I'll give you the material if you want. There's no end to it. It's better to understand a few concepts thoroughly, clearly. It's going to help us. And because it's not a question of quantity. It's like the analogy that I've given before. If you go to a buffet that has 1,000 items and you pay $51 for that, you say, wow, kya amazing buffet. Can you eat 1,000 items? Take a plate, put 7, 8, 10 items in there, sit down peacefully, nicely, enjoyably with your friends. Or enjoy kariji. Maybe go for another second round. It's unlimited, you can eat. How much can somebody eat in that? We eat to the point where we are satisfied. We appreciate the 1,000 items. Nobody can eat 1,000 items. This is like this. It's something like that. We have voluminous amount of information. So I have to be very careful that, because my academic training and my own thinking behind all of this is like, I get excited about, presenting lots of interesting ideas and thinking about them in many ways and covering a lot of material, but that's not necessarily the best approach for the general public. And even for all of us, even for me, that's not necessarily the best approach in terms of the application. Having that plate of food and chewing it and eating it and digest, that is application. What is the point in standing in front of 1,000-item buffet and not eating anything out of that, or eating only one thing? That's not the. It's finding out what to select and then to really internalize, right? So here, sthayi bhav, is par dhyan rakhna, or siddha karna hai. Our goal here in satsang is not just academics or just theories and ideas and concepts. That's fine. That's necessary also. That is necessary, but that's not the goal. The goal is there's two goals. One is an intermediate goal and then the siddha goal. That the concept that is being presented, it must be, this is Sachin's prarthana only for myself, first of all, and then for all of you if you want it. It must be, without any deviation, absolutely, completely clear. First, the concept has to be absolutely clear. Clarity nahi aagi. If there's no clarity, there's trouble. Lot of trouble. So the clarity, the confusion inside will prevent the development. It will prevent the development internally, because all of this is an internal development. Bhagwan ki bhakti, Bhagwan ki murti, Bhagwan ke shastra, Bhagwan ke bhakta, Radhika ji, Sri Krishna, Hanuman ji, Sri Ram, everything that we see in tradition in outside, as well as the temples that are there, the murtis that are there, the stotras and mantras and shastras, ye sab kahan hai actually? Everything that is external is present for the internal development and realization. It's within. Internally is where the RAAS LEELA happens. It's where God's realization happens. It's all internal. It is called Gnan Yagna, Yog Yagna, Vachanamrut, Garada Madhya 8. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Shriji Maharaj, वो बहुत क्लियर है, कितनी सुंदर बात उन्होंने लिखी है, और वो बोले थे, उनके परमहंसों ने लिखी है, ज्ञान यज्ञ योग यज्ञ निरंतर करया करवा. What we are doing from in this exposition time from 8:20, 8:30 till 9 o'clock or so, this is called Gyan Yagna in Hindi or Gyan Yagna in Sanskrit or Gujarati. Gyan Yagna. I'm not saying that word. That word is pronounced, that Gna is pronounced in different ways. But in Sanskrit, I believe it's pronounced Gyan Yagna. In Gujarati, it's a Gyan Yagna, and Gyan Yagya in Hindi. It all means the same thing. Yagya means what? We are offering our manovritti, हमारी जो शक्ति है, ज्ञान शक्ति, इच्छा शक्ति, क्रिया शक्ति, वो भगवान के स्वरूप में इसका यज्ञ करते हैं, इसको ऑफर करते हैं. I hope that's clear. And when we do that through bhajans, mantras, that's why we do from 7 o'clock until 8:20, 8:30 sometimes, continuous, 1.5 hour almost every day. So many mantras starting with Vishnu Sahasranam. ये क्या है? It is offering our vritti inside that divine ज्योति स्वरूप परमात्मा, भगवान का जो दिव्य स्वरूप है, वो ज्योति स्वरूप है, उसमें साकार मूर्ति है, उसमें भगवान की मूर्ति है, उसमें हम कनेक्ट करते हैं through all these mantra scriptures. And when we are connecting, we're connecting inside of us. हमारे अंतर में इसका कनेक्शन करते हैं. I hope that makes sense. So it is a matter of realizing that this is an internal journey. We think of RAS LEELA as the gopis and Krishna dancing in the Vrindavan. Yes, there is a historical incident like that. History may be metaphorical, historical, didactic. Many dimensions are there. There's the philosophical meaning, there's all kinds. But all of that has only significance as far as where we are. Otherwise, it's just all intellectual games. That's all it is. It doesn't mean anything by itself. I mean, what difference does it make if Krishna had the RAS LEELA 5,000 years back? What difference does it make to us today? What is our LEELA going on right now in our life? These fantasies about the past has absolute useless baat hai sab. It has to be brought into the present, into actual, real application now. Otherwise, it's just fantasy. It's historical imagination or hypothetical imagination and some kind of mythology that shows up. And then usme se nastik bhav aata hai on top of that. That's what happens. Nastik bhav means atheist. Ye sab kya hai? Sab cock and bull stories. Krishna standing with so many gopikas. One Krishna, one gopi. People say, ye sab kya bakwas story hai sab. So many people believe that way. Those who don't have Shraddha Bhakti, they say, ye sab kya hai? You see, this is the problem, right? The Krishna lifting with his pinky the entire Govardhan. They say cock and bull stories. They say, take this Bhagavatam and throw it in the trash. This is what happens. I have met so many people who believe this way. From the Hindu community, not to mention anybody else. I'm not criticizing anybody, but this is what happens. Iska mahima jaan nahi sakte ki ye kya hai. Bhagwan Krishna ki RAS LEELA, we're trying to explain this in a way, not in a way, but what it really is for us. What difference does it make if Krishna did the RAS LEELA in the 5,000? What does any of that make for us right now? What is that RAS LEELA right now in our life? That is the only thing that is important. People are debating, did that Leela actually happen? Did Krishna actually speak the Gita? I mean, who cares if he spoke the Gita or not? What is the meaning behind that for us today? That's the only thing that's important. And then from there, if there is devotion and Shraddha, we can enjoy the Leela. Bhagwan Krishna ne aisi Leela ki, RAS LEELA ki, Kans ko mara, Putna ko mara, So from that, there's a teaching from that, and ek smaran, ek bhakti bhav aata hai. But a lot of people in today's world, they say this is all just mental, concocted fantasy. Isme kya bhakti bhav? How can you be imagining some kind of Leela, some imaginary thing, Krishna dancing on that Kali Nag, and killing? They say, what is all these nonsense stories? This is what they say. They say, stay with the Gita, throw all these stories away. This is what so many people today believe also, even big commentators. Ye sab kya hai? Ravan with the 10 heads. What nonsense is this? You see, so this is all seen as mythology. Mythology, it's seen as mythological stories, cock and bull stories. that absolutely have no significance whatsoever. Somebody has created them for some foolish-minded people in the world. This is what a lot of people believe. Is that what it is? Think about this for a moment. How do you know that Krishna actually lifted the Govardhan with his pinky? Because somebody wrote that? Is that true? Anybody can write anything. How do you know if it is true or not? This happens in Christianity, right? With Jesus being resurrected. How do you know? So they have so much theology. There's so many ways they try to justify whatever it is. Was there a camcorder? Was there an iPhone? How do you know what happened in the past? Anybody can write anything. You see, so this historical stuff that is there, be very careful. इसमें से नास्तिक भाव आता है. Because our brain, our mind is not based on Shraddha and just beliefs. And I'm not saying people should believe anything blindly, but you cannot prove those things. How do you know Krishna did the RAS LEELA and then change the timing? How do you know all this thing? You don't know all that. The only thing we have is the Bhagavatam, and then the commentaries upon commentaries upon commentaries. And then somebody could say all these commentaries are some kind of a religious delusion inside the mind of these commentators. Is that what it is? That they are psychiatrically imbalanced, and that's the reason why they're writing all these stories. Is that many people believe that? A lot of the atheists believe that these are all fake things. Is that true? Is it fake? You see, so that's why इस subject को बहुत dangerous बात है. Dangerous in what sense? Don't take these things literally. You don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. If we take it literally, at some point our own buddhi will have. वचनामृत में लिखा है संशय, इसमें क्या संशय का घाट. You say, what is this? What am I believing? What is this nonsense? Don't take it literally. Make it applicable practically here, right now. Then it has meaning. Yeah, we can say some Leela, Ras Leela ka rahasya khulna hai. That is what we're attempting. I'm giving this little bit of background here because there is a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of damage done to bhakti itself because of these kinds of thoughts, which I just expressed right now. Millions of people have these thoughts. I have seen, I cannot tell you, they say they're Hindu. What Hindu? Kya Hindu? And because the tradition is so difficult to understand, और ये जो सब लीला है, इसमें इतना रहस्य, it takes so much time to really open these ideas, and then you're still left with, did that actually happen historically? Sachin's humble point is, it doesn't matter if it happened historically or not. What difference does it make? You know, the stories in the Puranas, Bhagwan Shankar using his Trishul to kill the Asuras. Is that some metaphorical thing, mystical thing? Is some real Asura is there? The only Asura we have to be concerned about is the one inside of us. That's all. You know, so the moment we take everything in the Sanatan Dharma and put it inside of us, applicable to us, we're the great winner. We are going to achieve everything that needs to be achieved from that. If we externalize it, did it happen, or didn't this happen, or did that happen, or how do you know? How do you know that the Sudarshan Chakra has the light of 10,000 suns? How do you know that? You don't know that. How can you know that? You cannot know that unless you have a divine experience. Bhagwan divya anubhav karate hai, वो आप देख, then you will see what is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, what is written in the Shastras will be seen actually. I'll give you a simple analogy. Let's say you're sitting in a room. Let's say a child is born in a room. A child is born in a big mansion. All the windows are closed, doors are closed, but it's well lit. Lighting is excellent. And for 18 years, the child is inside the mansion, has never seen the outside world. Never seen the outside. I want you to visualize this point. Never seen the outside world. And 1,000 rooms are there in the mansion. Kabhi bhi Surya dekha hi nahi. But there are pictures, there are drawings, there are paintings of the sun. And for 18 years, you know, the child sees that, is aware of that, knows about it, but has never seen the actual sun. It's just like that. People who are living in the Bhautik Jagat, material world, have not seen God. What they have seen, what we are seeing are the names and forms, this material world. Bhagwan ko hum भगवान को, we have not seen that param tattva. So to actually see that param tattva, iska anubhav karna, is to go outside, is to open the door and to go outside the mansion. Oh my God, this is the reality. Isn't that so? See this analogy? The Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, they are the doorway. And Bhagwan ke jo sant, Satpurush, jisko anubhav hua hai, they are showing us how to open that door. In fact, they're showing us to come close to that door, and we want to have the door opened. To be prepared. It's a preparation to exit. It's a preparation for the door to be opened. Or Bhagwan kya karte? Bhagwan wo door open karte. Then you will see what the reality is. Now, that isn't there a difference between all of those pictures, thousands of pictures and photographs and paintings of the sun inside the mansion, compared to going outside and seeing the actual sun? Which one is real? One is just a representation, it's a symbol. Similarly, these stories and ideas, these are all symbolic at one level. They're all encouraging us to open that, to go to the actual border of Maya and ask Paramatma to open the door. Now I hope this is clear. Otherwise, there will be a lot of confusion. It's like, if you have 10 kids in a 1,000-room mansion and there are 1,000 different pictures of the sun and they're debating and writing commentaries on the sun and they're fighting with each other and shouting at each other and things like that. Does it have any meaning? किसी ने भी उसको देखा ही नहीं और they're debating about that. ऐसी स्थिति है most of the people in the world. Most of the religious people in the world, कुछ अनुभव नहीं है. Hardly anybody has any अनुभव. क्या अनुभव है? And debating and arguing and shouting and screaming and hurting each other even. This is called Ajnan. So that's why these scriptures, they do not take them literally at this level. If you take it literally, you'll wind up in conflict with others. It's happened in the Vaishnav community. There are certain Vaishnavas, they never take the name of Shiv. Shiv ka naam hi nahi lete. ये क्या है सब अज्ञान, मूर्खता है ये सब. You see, this is अनुभव नहीं है, इसीलिए भगवान का कुछ अनुभव ही नहीं है. Fanaticism develops. मेरे ही संप्रदाय, मेरे ही गुरु, मेरा ही ये. It's like those 10 kids. They have made a room with all the pictures of the sun. Somebody has made big sun, somebody has made small sun, somebody has made this. किसी को भी अनुभव नहीं है. And चर्चा कर रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं करना. So watch out for these dangers. This is a contamination in Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is not contaminated. Our own Ajnan has put contaminants inside there. So God is not some imagination. These ideas that are written here in the Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is considered to be the fifth Veda, Pancham Veda. बहुत ध्यान रखना, otherwise it causes lot of damage. कितना है गोपी कृष्ण, भगवान कृष्ण और गोपिका का जो लीला है, इसमें से but because of misinterpretation it has caused even in the religious communities lot of damage. I don't want to go into the details of that. बहुत incredible बात है. So it has to be understood absolutely clearly. This is Sachin's humble request. Even the slightest misunderstanding will throw one off. Definitely, it will throw one off straight into Ajnan, into all kinds of problems. तो बहुत ध्यान रखना, ये heart की बात है. It's one more point before we continue on the स्थायी भाव. हमारा जो हृदय है, the heart. We know if there's a blockage in the heart, if there's a problem in the heart, all kinds of problems can happen in the heart, isn't it so? There's a healthy heart, really extraordinarily healthy hृदय जिसको कहते हैं. Bhagavatam in its real sense, the heart, RAS PANCHADHAYI, is the healthiest in its real sense. Who can recognize that? Who knows that? Who experiences that? जिसको इसका ज्ञान हो गया है, ऐसी भक्ति आ गई है. Yes, Beautiful. But if this is misunderstood, can you imagine what happens inside the heart when there's blockages, when there's damage, when there's an aortic valve, tricuspid valve, the different arteries that are going through. इसमें थोड़ा damage कुछ हो गया, or if there's a leakage, or if there's, if the heart stops pumping, क्या दशा हो जाएगी? So Bhagavatam के जो रास पंचाध्याय, ये पूरा आध्यात्मिक, it is the heart of spirituality. And it is the pump. Just like the heart is a pump, it pumps the spiritual Shakti, that is love, Prema Shakti, throughout the entire physical mind body system everywhere. ये सब points ध्यान रखना. So, स्थायी bhav means a state of being, state of steadiness. इसमें पूरी श्रद्धा, and Shraddha doesn't develop just by these stories. These stories are, as I mentioned, that Shraddha, we have to have Shraddha. This is Sachin's only humble interpretation. ये जो सब लीला है, gopis with all the Krishna and Govardhan ki leela and this leela, that leela. He said we don't understand what that is. This written down by Vedavyas ji, Bhagwan Krishna himself will reveal what that is. We don't have to try to analyze that. We cannot analyze that thing. You try to analyze, you will wind up in atheism. Nastik bhava jayega. Iska analysis nahi karna. And you'll notice in the Bhagavad Gita koi leela nahi hai. Bhagavad Gita itself is a leela, but there's no leela, charitra leela in that sense. It is pura gyan. This is why Bhagavad Gita ka gyan totally, it should be absolutely steady inside. And then on that basis, as bhakti develops, Bhagwan ke विषय जो bhakti है, when we develop bhakti, the names of the Lord, the different charitra of Bhagwan, Leela charitra, the different places where the Leela, इसमें से bhakti bhav, pujya bhav आता है, out of Shraddha. Now that transition into that Shraddha is a big thing. How do you know that, Bhagavatam में जो श्रद्धा है, भागवतम की भी आरती है, भागवतम की आरती ऐसी श्रद्धा आ जाती है. So what is that Shraddha? So that Shraddha begins with, Hey Prabhu, आप में पूरा विश्वास है, भागवतम में विश्वास है, विश्वास is there, trust. पर अनुभव, इसका real अनुभव क्या है? It's like going outside that huge 1,000-room mansion and seeing the sun for the first time. इसको कहते हैं अपरोक्ष अनुभव, अपरोक्ष अनुभूति. शंकराचार्य जी के शब्द है. वो भगवान करेंगे, पर श्रद्धा तो होनी चाहिए. If somebody sitting in the mansion whole life and is saying, what nonsense, there's nothing outside, there's only this, then stay in that. But go, there's a door, open that door. What is that door? That is Guru Parampara. That is sadhana. We have to knock on that door. Even we cannot open that door. Knock and the door shall be opened. Seek and you shall find. Jesus has taught us this. But we have to knock. What is that knocking? That is doing sadhana. Asking God for blessings. Asking Paramatma to open that doorway. भगवान की जो माया है वो भगवान की माया है. That is also a matter of Shraddha. We do our studies and understand everything as much as possible, but a point comes where the buddhi is not going to help us. It is only bhakti and Shraddha that says, Hey Prabhu, आप इसको open कर दीजिए. And when
Hello, Sachin.
हाँ बोलिए.
So I feel doing the shlokas without understanding. So
Yes.
That's why we have so many agnostics
Yes.
and atheists and all.
Yes.
We never had Sachin like person in our lives earlier. That's what happened. So now, so we need more of people like you to realize, understand these the mythological stories, the significance of that. So that was not there. So we cannot even blame people who are like that.
No.
Because they were conditioned, they were like that and never got the opportunity to analyze it.
Yes, exactly. You just taught, you have to follow this ritual, do this festival,
yes,
do this.
We just memorized, we just shlokas, we just said it like that without any interpretation, because their spirituality was not developed earlier.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It was not developed in that way. And see, exactly right, Deviji. And thank you for that comment. This is about the Ras Leela or the Ramayana, the Bhagavatam, the Gita. It is about what is happening inside of us. It is a,
Right. Now we know all these things. Earlier it was all social events basically. Even now it is many times it is social
sure,
basically.
sure.
So
Yeah, and that has a place. Everything has its place. But see, people have isko jo nastik bhag. What is this stories you're worshipping? What is this thing? They don't understand what is the linkage in terms of inner development. अंतर का जो development है इसमें ही सब बात है और once that is clear that the Ras Leela is inside, that the Golok and Vaikuntha Dham is inside, that the transcendental abode भगवान को देखना ये तीन अवस्था से बाहर बात है जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति is has to be beyond those three. So until the foundation is clear, we cannot grasp what is the Gopi or Krishna ka jo interaction hai. That is at the very top of the whole process. वो अंतिम कक्षा है. It is the height of it all. You see, so that is why I'm also we were doing prarthana. Sachin has to do prarthana every day in the morning. ये कैसे approach करना in a way that is going to be useful for the world community.
Absolutely. So what I feel is that from the childhood we have, when you're reading mythological stories,
yes.
Then we need to explain the significance
yes.
of it from the beginning.
Yes.
Then all the all this bhava will develop.
Exactly. Because see, for example, when Krishna is with all the gopis, right? He's taken one gopi, one Krishna. इसमें इतना deep रहस्य है. There are layers and layers of understanding of it. But for me to even, because we're not even at that point yet to explain that Leela. All of this background, this Sthayi Bhav and all these things, this has to be developed first before that Leela, before that Anubhav is going to happen. Because we want to be in that Gopika state where Bhagwan's hamare saath, he is playing with us, that we can have that loving exchange, madhurya rasa with Sri Krishna. अभी ये सब समझने के लिए कितने शास्त्र है, चैतन्य चरित्रामृत है, श्रीमद् भागवत पे कितनी कमेंटरीज है, कितने आचार्य परंपरा हो गए, कितने शास्त्र हो गए. But why they have written so much? Because that is so special. वो इतनी amazing और ऐसी स्थिति है. But to even approach that, it's too far ahead. Just this notion, for example, स्थायी भाव का जो notion है, that emotion is so solidly remaining in Paramatma. ये क्या है बात है? How is that possible? That concept is beyond, as far as I know, anything in psychology. It is in spiritual psychology. Maybe they talk about it. Maybe in the Christian mystics have talked about that. But ये क्या बात है? How can our emotions be completely abiding, permanently remained as sthayi? Sthayi means rooted. They are established inside the Swarup of God. इस पर ध्यान रखना. ये क्या बात है ये? How is that? What is that? Our emotions. I'll give you a simple example. I'll just give you one very simple example. We have here in Delaware, in Bear, Delaware. It's a small little town. We have ISKCON का एक मंदिर है वहाँ, Krishna village. They have taken a home and they've converted it into मंदिर. बहुत लोग जाते हैं, and a lot of devotees are there. If you go for satsang at Sundays, I'm going to give you an example of this Sthayi Bhavi. इसको कैसे develop होता है. You go for satsang from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, then they have Mahaprasad at the end. For that 2 hours, 2.5 hours, there's a lot of bhakti, bhajan, a lot of mantras, and people are dancing and singing, and there's exposition. And कितनी सुंदर सत्संग में बैठना चाहिए, right? This is the very important. जहाँ भी सत्संग होता है, वहाँ बैठो. Don't judge people. Take good things from others. Now, that for 2 hours we can sit. That's a sadhana. What happens after the 2 hours? Our emotions fluctuate into the gunas of Maya. Isn't it so? But those who are real devotees, जिसको भगवान के साथ ही रहना है, even while performing action throughout. When we leave the temple, internally there is no leaving the mandir. Mandir में से निकलना ही नहीं. क्रिया सब करनी. This is a way for sthayi bhav. Sthayi bhav means that when we physically leave any mandir, our mind should not leave the mandir. गाड़ी में बैठे वो भी मंदिर है. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we're taking a mala and sitting like how we're sitting in the satsang program. It's not like that. You're driving a car, you're having a conversation, you might be listening to something, whatever it is. Then you go to work, we perform the action as karma yoga. Mandir mein se nikalna nahi. This is our sutra for today. The sutra for today is very simple. Enter into mandir and never leave it. That's it. Ye siddh karna. Do it 1 hour at a time, day at a time. Mandir mein, do it this way. Go into a physical temple. Krishna mandir, Mata ji ka mandir, Devi ka mandir, Shiv ji ka mandir, जो भी मंदिर आपको प्रिय है, सब मंदिर तो एक ही है. भगवान के मंदिर में, चर्च में जाना, if you want चर्च में जाना, what difference does it make? नेचर में जाना, it's okay. गुरुद्वारा में जाना, जहां जाना है वहां जाना, पर भक्ति भाव से जाना. Go where your ishta is. Ishta dev का जो मंदिर है इसमें जाना. And then take a mala. मंत्र जाप करना 108 times, 360 times, 720 times, 1008 times. मंत्र जाप करना. And make a determination. अभी मंदिर में enter हुआ है, मंदिर में से निकलना ही नहीं. निकलना नहीं. Physically you have to leave the mandir, but not internally. मेरा हृदय और मेरा मन भगवान के it has been given to Sri Krishna. Who was it that said that? I think it was Mirabai. Maybe it was somebody else, but I think it was Mirabai. Somebody had asked her, why you're worshipping Krishna. She said, I only have one mind. वो मनोहर है भगवान. He's taken my mind. I cannot give it to now somebody else. Who's taken it? He's totally taken it. Because I've given it to him. I cannot now give to somebody else. Because there's no taking back. Once you give yourself completely at the feet of Paramatma, there's no taking back. There's no question of that's ahankar. Then we have not given it. In the same way, when we leave the mandir mein se nikalna hi nahi. Try to do this today. Or make a determination. एक साधना कीजिए. Do it as a sadhana if you want. Go into a mandir after taking a shower and all that, mala karna wahan, pradikshana, mala, do all some good sadhana for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then make a determination. Today, mandir mein se nikalna nahi. Meaning our mind, our manovritti is not to be disturbed in maya. Bhagwan ko prarthana karna. Keep the link going. Do everything. Talk to family with love and affection, सब क्रिया करनी, but link तोड़ना नहीं उनके साथ.
So I have a question, Sachin.
Yes.
This is it necessary to be religious in order to be spiritual?
No, of course not. See the word religion.
So spirituality is sorry, I just want to explain. Spirituality tells us how to live harmoniously in day-to-day life, basically. And all that by reading the scriptures and everything. And so now we listen to the bhajan and all. So if you know the meaning of the bhajan, the bhava comes better?
Yes, of course. Obviously, it is all
so when you go to the temple, there you are listening to the bhajan and all. At that time, we are not understanding the meaning. We are trying to develop the bhakti there, bhakti.
Yes.
And then we are telling God, samarpan, apna sara, we are just giving at the feet, sharnagati lene ke liye. This is one mukti ka, to get the mukti and all. But to understand, to practically live in day-to-day life, all the scriptures are there, Bhagavad Gita and Bible and everything.
Yes.
Anybody has to be religious in order to become spiritual?
So, when you say religious, do you mean how are you using that word?
No, do you have to go to the temple or do you have to believe in God? You may believe in the scriptures. You may have all the, whatever is there. Like for instance, if it was not, I'm talking from a lay point of view. So there are some things written ethically. You have to follow these. You have to tell. You should not tell lies and all those things.
Yes.
So like that, Bhagavad Gita tells you how to live day-to-day life, basically. And then people may not believe in Krishna, Arjuna, and all their stories and all, but they want to take out the best from the Gita.
Of course. So, very simple answer. It's a very nice point, and thank you for asking that. Think of it this way, that the scriptures are there, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. They are there to develop the potency of the mind. Hamara jo man hai, the energies of the mind, if you look at it in terms of energy, then you don't have to worry about believing in God and all those. Those things can come later if they come. If they don't come, you can go another approach. Like Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni, this equanimity. Take one concept, equanimity. How beautiful is that? Now, if you believe in God, that's fine. If you don't, can you still focus on equanimity? So it is possible to extract the psychological development, the ethical, moral development from the scriptures and not focus on the religious or the more theistic aspect of that. Yes, of course you can do that. Many people have done that. Many people do that also. But those who want to have a shraddha, development of faith that there is Bhagavan ek par tattva hai, then that becomes a religious theistic dimension. Now, how does that develop? That's a big subject. There's a huge way to understand. Ek shraddha ka vishay is not blind faith. It develops over time. That there is actually the cause of all causes. And I have made some recordings. Some others have also foundational recordings years back on this. So to answer your question, yes, there are those who are looking at their own development through the scriptures. They're not interested in God and they consider that as fantasy or delusion or whatever. So if you consider that way, leave that aside. Look at it in terms of your own development. This is why when we say Bij Mantra karte, Krim, Kram, Krum, these are sound. They are divine sound. They are sound that open up your own potential, and that intelligence will open as we continue on that path. It's like that. I'll give you a very simple example. If somebody is taking an antidepressant medicine, you have two people. One is believing in God very much. Another person doesn't believe at all, atheistic. It works on the brain chemistry nearly the same way. Maybe the belief has some modulating factor, no doubt. But the medicine, it's going to impact. Similarly, ये जो Ved mantra hai, the Ved mantras don't even talk about a Bhagwan sitting somewhere. I mean, they do in some sense, but it's more about mantra bolo, or iska effect. That effect will automatically take you further. Like we're going to do Shri Suktam at 10 o'clock today. We do it every Friday. So when we do Shri Suktam every Friday at 10 o'clock, that is an impact on our system. On our mind, brain, body, vibrational impact, the spandan ka impact hai. Now, where is the issue of believing in God? You may want to believe, as Mahalakshmi ji ki murti hum banate hai, ek diya karte hai, that allows us to have a representation of focus. It is a mantra. It is a mantra in the form, in that sakar form, but that sakar form is created by us as a representation of the mantra. But then there's also the mantra की जब सिद्धि होती है, आपको दिव्य दर्शन होगा, वो original form का दर्शन होगा, and then ऋषि मुनि को दर्शन हुआ था, and from there the murti is created. That is another way to understand the murti of Mahalakshmi. You follow how this works. Now there's people who say we don't want any murti. तो कोई बात नहीं, हवन कीजिए, sit in front of the havan, पवित्र भाव में रखो, मंत्र का chanting करो. That's fine too. You don't have to have murti. If you have murti, is very good. पर उपनिषद टाइम में तो क्या मूर्ति थी किसकी? इसमें उपनिषद में तो लिखा है न च प्रतिमा अस्ति, मूर्ति बनाना नहीं. ऐसी भी आज्ञा है in the Upanishad. Because if you make a murti, you're going to fantasize something or another. So in the Upanishad at the time, they were so developed, they could see the actual tattva. They didn't need to have a murti that is created at the mental level. But we human beings are not at that level, so you have to create temples and murtis and everything, and then do pratishtha and ask Paramatma to come inside. It is another approach. I hope this is clear. Does anybody have any comments or questions about this? Boliye, if you
I really understand. For us, I believe in God, I have faith in God and all.
Yes.
But there are people who take good things from the scriptures,
Yes.
but they are not.
That's okay.
So basically, respect each individual for what they are.
Of course. And in fact, this is the reason why Sachin's humble prarthana has been to everybody. Aim Bij Mantra Kijiye. You don't have to believe in anything. Sit for dhyan. Experiment. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Incident that real individual who was actually a patient of mine when I was doing clinical practice, and then he and his wife used to come here. And then we stopped the clinical practice because of some changes that happened. But then we continued. I said to him, "You do Aim Bij Mantra." They had lots of issues and problems, and was of Christian the log, but they didn't even know anything about Christianity. Hardly, bought confusion. God knows what was there. He did this for 6 months, every day, one mala. I gave him a mala. Up kiji. African American fellow. His wife was also African. Is also African American. And they started doing this. He started doing it, and his wife was doing she was listening to devotional songs. You'll be surprised what happened. After 6 months, and then after 8 months or so, every single disturbance in their family got eliminated. Massive problems, sab eliminate ho gaya. Number one. Second thing, this individual started reading through the Bible. In the second year, itna gyan hua Bible ka, you could see the change as if God has blessed him with something. All the knowledge of that Bible began to filter inside of him. He was reading 50 pages a day. And from that, the entire opening happened. And now, both of them got married eventually. And itna divya, sundar Christian जीवन बन गया through Aim Bij Mantra. कैसे हुआ है? Because he didn't let it go. I used to meet with him every week. We should make sure he pronounces it clearly and all the way through. Now, somebody might be interested in physics or chemistry. आपकी tendency क्या है? Somebody might be wanting to become a great chef or a great piano player. Whatever your ichha is for greatness, that Bij Mantra will take you there. ये हमारी श्रद्धा है और अनुभव भी है with hundreds of people. आप करो इसको.
Shraddha is the most important thing, no?
And experimentation. Devi ji, this is experimentation. Sanatan Dharma is not based on blind belief. It is based on experiment. It is not, I'm just believing this. Yeah, beliefs are there. There are many like that. But it's not belief just like that. It is experience and experimentation. Anubhav mein jana. This is why we use the word Anubhav. There are two words, Shraddha and the word Anubhav. Shraddha kaisi hoti? Shraddha is somebody else's Anubhav.
Correct.
Isn't it so? Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya mantra people are doing. They tell you, okay, I had this experience, this happened, that happened. I can say I have Shraddha, I believe. Okay, but that's not my Anubhav. मुझको अनुभव में जाना I have to do Namah Shivaya mantra. Then I will know what is my Anubhav. मेरा निज अनुभव क्या है और भगवत तत्व क्या है. Then it's my own journey with God. With the sadhana process. इसमें से अनुभव, इसमें से श्रद्धा. Then the Shraddha develops further because Shraddha solidifies further once Anubhav begins to open. Isn't it so?
Right.
Good. Very good. Other comments?
Yeah, basically we all these years we did, and now slowly after listening to your pravachnas and all, we all did with guilt and fear.
There's no need for guilt and fear of what? People say fear God.
Now I don't. Earlier it was totally just following things with guilt and fear. We did that, and now I feel that is not the case. God is there to protect us, and then why fear from Him?
Yes, exactly. Fearing God is the most foolish idea. I mean, it's fearing. Look, just remove the word fear completely. It's loving God and being open. Remember we talked about this the other day?
Absolutely.
Open kar dijiye.
Right.
I want to be transparent. It's called transparency. It is called Nishkapat Bhav in Gujarati.
Very beautifully said, Sachin, by you. Absolutely. we need more Sachin like you, so that it's so enlightenment will happen. That the things have to be
भगवान के साथ
not
क्या
like
God, first of all,
Right.
भगवान के साथ don't keep any barrier.
right.
You know, and in fact, there's only two places really where that can happen, with Paramatma and with your intimate partner. If that love is really so, there's no boundary, there's nothing held back. कितनी difficult बात है, is that is love. When two people, human beings, when they are 100% open with each other, भगवान का अस्तित्व वहाँ आ जाता है.
Mm-hmm.
पर वो नहीं होता. किसके जीवन में हुआ है? Romeo and Juliet, fantasy stories.
Yeah.
Because if you start telling something to somebody about something from the past, and then that person will react. We're always hiding something from somebody else. This is what we are used to. We're used to hiding everything. We are showing a facade, something here, and that's necessary also. But Bhagwan ke saath, there's a beautiful ek sakhi hai, tan ki jane, man ki jane, jane chit ki chori, inke aage kya chupaye, jisme haath mein dori.
Right.
बहुत सुंदर बात है जिसपे भगवान कृष्ण के मेरे ही हाथ में सब कुछ. What you're hiding from me?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
It's a lot of fun. बहुत मजा आता है सब में. It's a lot of fun. Other comments? Right? Is that it? Okay, good. We'll stop here. We'll pick it up tomorrow. बस आप सबका आशीर्वाद है. सर्व मंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते. And by the way, the 10 o'clock is our Shri Suktam. Today's Friday. Every Friday from 10 to 12:30. 10 to 12 is 15 rounds of Shri Suktam. Exactly, it's 2 hours long. And then half an hour we're closing with the Vishnu Sahasranam, because that is the way to seal the Shri Suktam through the Vishnu Sahasranam. So we'll stop
Namaskar,
here.
Sachin Ji.
Like,
can we do the Bij mantra while sleeping, while lying down also?
you can. It's called, yes. But again, Pavitra Bhav mein, you can lie down, take steady breaths in. Yes, very good. Absolutely, you can do that. Absolutely.
I mean,
Do you
lying down, because sometimes we don't want to catch the.
Do you
mala
know? Remember the image of Mahakali standing on the Shiv? He's lying down. Have you? I don't know if you've seen that iconography. Bhagwan Shankar is on the ground, and unke par wo Devi, she's standing on him. If you look at any Kali mandir, Kalika ka jo mandir hai, she's standing on the Shiva that is lying down.
Yeah.
You see? So yes, that is another symbolic way for us to understand we can lie down. So we're not holding any tension to hold up the body. Let the body completely relax. और भगवान के जो मंत्र बोलना, ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं. Do it on a flat surface. Very nice. It's excellent. करो.
Okay.
कुछ भी, anyway you can stand up and do it. You can lie down and do it. You can do it. भगवान का नाम लेना, whichever way करना है करो. Keep it up. Anything else? Okay. All right. Shri Krishnaya Namaha, Shri Radhaya Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll see you at 10 o'clock. Yeah.